By wrongly trusting Phi, the antelopes fell into a desperate situation. A hungry lioness set her eyes on a herd of antelopes coming to drink water. Normally, a vigilant Phi would sound an alarm when seeing a predator. But here, it was an exception. Phi's silence gave the antelopes the wrong message. They let their guard down. Step by step, they walked into the ambush. The antelopes could not comprehend things beyond their perception. And so, they paid the price with their lives. This is the hunting ground of the oasis pride. Two adult lionesses rule here. They lead a group of cubs, following ancestral rules. They strictly forbid attacking Phi. For Phi, a well-fed lion poses no threat. Everyone can happily play together. But a sudden drought shattered the meager life. 3 prides are about to gather at the oasis. This is Ruaha National Park. A large herd of buffalo leaves the highlands. They surge toward the oasis in search of life. Along with the buffalo comes the Nya pride. This is a group of strong and ruthless hunters. They have no territory. To the Nya lions, the buffalo herd is simply a moving food supply. Wherever the buffalo go, they follow. The Nya pride has an almost perfect hunting tactic. Among the buffalo herd, the old, weak, sick, and injured are their primary targets. They spot an injured calf. Should the pride immediately lock onto the target or try to scatter the herd? In a flash, they snatch the calf away. The pride's actions may seem cruel, but in fact, they reduce the herd's burden. This allows the herd to grow stronger. A perfect display of natural selection. Survival of the fittest. Once the weak are removed, even a prime bull may not escape. Perhaps after drinking at the oasis, they can stand tall again. North of the oasis lies an ancient grove by Lake Village. It is ruled by the Lake Village pride, nearly 30 lions strong. With the arrival of the drought, a group of buffalo migrating from the north arrives first. They are not the ones under the Nya pride's watch. 1,000 buffalo march in force toward the last remaining water source for the Lake Village pride living here. This is the annual hunting feast. But this year, the buffalo do not plan to linger. The long trek has left these giants parched. They must reach the oasis waters quickly. This is something the Lake Village pride did not expect. If they want to taste buffalo meat, they can only follow behind the herd, risking entry into the oasis pride's territory, a place they are forbidden to go. Little do they know, this decision will bring an imaginable disaster to the Lake Village pride. As for the buffalo herd's arrival, the oasis pride has long been unfazed. They only find these giants too nosy. It has been months since they were last disturbed. But this time, things seem different. The oasis lionesses notice that the herd arriving here is not just a single group. The herd that rushed from the Husan forest and the herd driven by the Nya pride from the west all poured into this place together. The restless buffalo posed little real threat. What worried them the most were the two lion prides traveling with the herds. The oasis pride wasn't large, but they were extremely clever. The older warriors understood that the arrival of the herds was not a good thing. Once chaos broke out, he and his partner might not be able to protect the fragile cubs in the turmoil. For the sake of their lost future, this small family could only be forced to leave temporarily. They would return only when the oasis had fully regained its peace. Amidst the buffalo crowd, a group of Garanuks also arrived at the oasis, followed by a cheetah family tracking them. When the hungry one took a risky move, the mother immediately sensed something unusual. She did not let the cubs move forward, but instead kept them in a safe place. To learn and observe, a hunt was officially about to begin. As allies of the oasis pride, Phi was extremely principled. Even when the pride left temporarily, they would not allow their poachers to take advantage, even if it was life-saving food for the cheetah family. Under Phi's threat, the unprepared cheetah mother could only reluctantly leave. The Garanuk lay on the ground, panting heavily. Phi, in the lead, cautiously approached it, whether out of guilt or concern. He quietly stood guard nearby. This Garanuk's life force was remarkably strong. The moment it stood up, Phi let out a cry of surprise. Thanks to Phi's intervention, the Garanuk was saved. The strange rocks in the oasis were growing in number. A mile upstream from Husan, the herds of Mulan and Nya began flooding toward the river. Two powerful herds merged into a mighty army. The buffalo's strength surged. A great battle was inevitable. Meanwhile, the Husan lionesses arrived safely at the oasis. Looking at the vast herds before them, the pride was already drooling in anticipation. They prepared to unleash a slaughter in the oasis. Their division of labor was clear. Once they found the herd's weak points, they quietly lay in ambush, waiting for the perfect hunting moment. The buffalo were completely unaware. Startled, the buffalo began scattering and running. They drove the herd to the river bank, trying to find a weakness. An accident happened. The situation instantly reversed. The buffalo, once in panic, regained their senses and launched a fierce counterattack against the prey. The hunt failed. The Husan lionesses should not have chosen the hottest time to attack buffalo that were replenishing their water. These aggressive buffalo were no easy prey. They weren't afraid of the heat. But the lions could not endure for long. One young lioness refused to give up and stubbornly tested the buffalo. Soon, she would pay the price for her reckless behavior. It was her first time hunting buffalo, and perhaps her last. Seeing an unfamiliar pride before the herd, the late-arriving Nya pride was displeased. These domineering, cold-blooded killers had no intention of letting their captive prey be taken by others. The elder Husan lioness sensed trouble immediately and became wary. A young male lion stepped out from the Nya pride and approached the Husan lioness. Facing provocation, the Husan lioness immediately fought back. Lions and males did not yield. No male lion can tolerate rejection from a female. Nya's fierce spirit instantly stepped forward, staring intently at the opponent. The Husan lioness pride had no room to retreat. They could only prepare for battle. Nearby, the watching buffalo sensed danger. To avoid being caught in the crossfire, they quickly withdrew to a safe distance. The universe that nurtures countless lives had now become a battlefield. Years of pent-up resentment made Nya's pride especially fierce. Easily, they drove away the Husan warrior pride of nearly 30 members in a panicked retreat. But that was not the worst. In the chaos, an injured young lioness at the rear was left behind. She became a captive of Nya's pride. However, Nya was in no hurry to kill her. They used cruel methods to torture her. Her piercing screams rang out. The Hufen warrior pride stopped in their tracks. As the defeated, they dared not approach. They could only watch helplessly as their family member was humiliated at will. To end this torture, the only option was to submit to the enemy. The Husan lioness leader stepped onto the battlefield again. Knowing it was a trap, she went forward without hesitation. Standing firmly there, she expressed submission to Nya's pride. The suffering was over. The Husan lionesses rescued the young lioness. Her injuries were extremely severe. She lay on the ground, crying out in pain. Her family stayed by her side, afraid Nya might harm her again. To escape the scorching sun, they went to the edge of the oasis to wait, hoping the injured lioness could rejoin the pride. But the heat was unbearable. Survival took priority. The leader could not stay any longer. She had to take the pride back to Husan territory. The wounded one was left behind. Only her mother stayed, accompanying her gravely injured daughter to the very end. The mother held back her grief. She reluctantly looked at her daughter one last time. She had to leave. The young lioness struggled to stand, trying to follow her mother. But her badly injured body could no longer support her. With vultures as her companions, she unwillingly took her last breath. In the cruel natural world, killing is always taking place. With her passing, the oasis returned to peace. The buffalo quietly replenished their water. The oasis pride returned to their territory with their cubs. The leaders wise chose had avoided a war for the pride and saved the lives of the cubs. They would continue to learn from these lessons,